They say every city has a place people forget. A building everyone used to know, but now drives past without a second glance. For me, that place was Sunset Mall. I hadn't thought about it in years until that night. The night I decided to take a shortcut. I wasn't looking for trouble. I wasn't even trying to explore. I just wanted to get home. But sometimes, when you wander into the wrong place at the wrong time, the place notices. A few nights ago, the rain was coming down in thick, cold sheets. Traffic was crawling. I was exhausted and desperate to get home. That's when I decided to take a shortcut through the older part of downtown, a mess of narrow streets, construction zones, and half-finished renovations. I used to know that area pretty well back when I was a kid. My mom used to take me to this huge shopping mall, there, Sunset Mall. It used to be the place to be. Neon lights, food court, smells the sound of kids laughing. There was even a carousel in the middle of it all. But like everything else, it faded. Stores closed lights, dimmed, and eventually people just stopped going. The last I heard, it had been shut down years ago. But when I saw the side street that led toward it, something about it felt familiar. Nostalgic maybe. Or maybe I was just tired enough to think it would be faster. There was a narrow alley that led to a metal door on the side of the mall, one of those service entrances. It wasn't locked. It shouldn't have been open at all. But when I pushed it, gave way with a quiet click. I don't know why I went in. Curiosity, I guess. Or maybe I just didn't want to sit in traffic anymore. The air inside was stale damp. The kind of smell you get when a building's been left alone too long. The lights above flickered weakly, humming every few seconds, like they were on life support. I stood there for a while, letting my eyes adjust. The hallway stretched ahead, dirty white tiles, cracked and uneven. Faded posters clung to the walls, advertising stores that probably didn't exist anymore. At first, I thought it was kind of cool, like stepping into a time capsule. But the longer I stood there, the quieter it seemed. No wind, no echoes, no sound at all except for that soft electric hum. It was the kind of silence that feels heavy, like the air itself is listening. Still, I told myself it was fine. Just an old building. I kept walking. Most of the stores were boarded up or empty, but a few still had window displays frozen in time. Mannequins wearing outdated clothes, movie posters for films I barely remembered. Sale signs faded to pink. Something about the stillness made me uneasy. The kind of unease you can't quite explain. I remember thinking it was colder there. Or maybe it just felt that way. I turned a corner and the food court appeared, or what was left of it. All the tables were gone except one. A single plastic table sitting in the middle of the open space. There was a styrofoam cup on it, steam rising from the top. That was the first moment I felt real fear. Not the kind you can reason with, just a cold instinctive jolt through your chest. I stared at it for a long time, told myself it was nothing. Maybe a maintenance worker left it there. Maybe it wasn't even hot. But the steam didn't stop. I should have turned around. I didn't. I kept walking, trying to find another way out. But the more I explored, the less sense the layout made. The halls twisted, repeating themselves. Every time I turned a corner, I ended up somewhere I swore I'd already been. And then I noticed something else. The mannequins. At first I thought I imagined it, but they weren't where I'd last seen them. Some were turned slightly, some had their arms raised now. One had its head tilted toward me. I laughed under my breath, nervous laughter. It didn't sound right in that place. I pulled out my phone to check the time, maybe call someone, but the signal was gone. The clock jumped from 4:47 to 11:13, then reset itself to 0. The building groaned, and somewhere behind me, a faint tap echoed. Footsteps. I froze. The sound stopped too. When I started walking again, it started again, matching my pace. Tap, tap, tap. I turned around, light shaking in my hand. Nothing. Just empty hallways, stretching into black. I waited, held my breath, and turned back. When I took another step, the sound came again faster, this time closer. That's when I ran. I didn't think. I just ran. For what felt like hours, I stumbled through hallways that stretched endlessly, my footsteps echoing like gunfire. Then out of nowhere, I saw a glowing red exit sign above a metal door. My heart leapt. I sprinted. The door gave way easily, and cold night air rushed against my face. I was out. I was free. Or so I thought. The street outside was quiet. Too quiet. There were cars' headlights moving, people walking on sidewalks, umbrellas open against the drizzle. But they didn't move right. A woman in a red coat passed me twice the same motion, the same smile that never changed. Across the street, a man adjusted his hat again and again, looping endlessly like a glitch in a video. The cars made no noise. The rain didn't fall on me anymore. It was like watching a recording of the world, not the world itself. I turned back, praying to see something normal. But the mall door behind me had changed. It was taller, darker, the glass warped and glimmering like oil on water. It looked alive, like it had followed me. I didn't escape. I never left. I don't remember deciding to go back inside. Maybe I didn't have a choice. The air was colder now, sharper. Every breath came out as fog. The halls had changed again, narrower. The walls closer, pressing in, like they were breathing. Mannequins lined the paths, headless, now slumped, but somehow still. Aware. The walls pulsed faintly when I touched them. Warm, beating, alive. Signs flickered on in the darkness. My name appeared in red letters on one of them. Another one read, "We've been waiting for you." And another, "Don't run." I didn't listen. I ran. The whispers followed me louder now, overlapping words I couldn't understand. And beneath them, something else, a low guttural growl that made my bones vibrate. I turned a corner, and there it was again. The food court. The same table, the same cup. Steam still curling into the air. Only this time, a mannequin sat in the chair, its plastic fingers wrapped around the cup, its head tilted toward me. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. The walls behind me started to move, pulsing faster, the whispers turning to screams. I fell to the ground, back against something warm and shifting. It was the wall, and it was breathing. When I stood, the mannequins were gone, but the tables were full. Dozens of figures sat there now, perfectly still. They looked human, until I saw their faces. They didn't have any, just smooth, blank skin. They all turned toward me in perfect unison. I tried to run, but my body wouldn't move. The whispers grew until they drowned everything else. One of them stood. Its movements were jerky, like a puppet on invisible strings. It reached out a hand. When its cold fingers touched my face, everything went black. When I woke up, I was sitting at the table. The same table, the same cup of coffee. I looked down at my hands. Smooth, plastic. Not mine. Around me, the others sat silently, waiting. And I realized I was one of them now. I don't know how long I've been here. Time doesn't work right anymore. But sometimes I still think I hear people walking in the hallways. And when they stop by the table, I try to scream. But all that comes out is silence. I don't know how long it's been since that night. Maybe hours, maybe years. Time doesn't move the same way here. If you ever find yourself driving near the old part of town and you see a metal door slightly open, don't go in, no matter how curious you are, because I think the mall is still there and it's waiting for someone new to take my place.